Hello, tady Broňa, nadšený učitel angličtiny z Brna, který pomáhá lidem zamilovat se do angličtiny. No a teď vás nadšeně po delší době, za což se moc omlouvám, vítám na začátku dalšího BroňaCastu, tedy podcastu o angličtině a učení se angličtiny a všeho, co se kolem angličtiny točí, včetně mě. No to byl teda úvod. Každopádně dneska bych chtěl říct, že mám pro vás podle mého fakt zajímavý rozhovor, nebo 4 zajímavé rozhovory, opět se 4 báječnými americkými učiteli z firmy Blabu. No a tentokrát jsme si nepovídali tolik o angličtině samotné, když samozřejmě taky jinak by to nešlo, ale povídali jsme si o věcech jako co byste měli vědět před návštěvou Ameriky, co se týká životního stylu, kultury, toho, jak se lidi chovají. A taky o tom, co třeba tyhle Američany zaskočilo na životě v Čechách nebo v Evropě všeobecně. Jaký je největší rozdíl mezi Čechy a Američany a třeba co je překvapilo na českých studentech. To byla pro mě, musím se přiznat, ta nejzajímavější část. Takže pokud si troufáte na rozhovor, který je celý v angličtině a chcete se dozvědět zajímavé věci od amerických učitelů, kteří mají zkušenosti s Čechy, s námi, Čechy a Slováky, tak si myslím, že by se vám tenhle podcast mohl moc líbit. Já pevně doufám, že bude a teď už to trošku natahuju, protože nemůžu najít to, kde se zastavuje nahrávání. Ale už jsem to našel, takže jestli jste připravený, tak pojďme na to.
Hi, my name is Kellen and I am from Fairbanks, Alaska, USA. And my 2 favorite things to do are go outside on adventures and spend time with family.
Imagine that I should visit Alaska. Is there something I should know about the local customs or habits or the way people behave, or something I shouldn't do as a Czech person that you can see that we do here, or
I say you'd be okay. Czech culture is very similar to Alaskan culture. Honestly, I feel at home here because it is so similar. The culture, the people, how they interact with each other, it is very similar. And when I meet other Americans in Czech, I feel embarrassed about them. Because I'm like, you're so loud, you're so noisy, just calm down. So you would have no problem going to Alaska. Just make sure you dress for winter if you go for winter. Like, bring lots of clothes.
Okay, good. I would love to one day actually. And
yeah.
Is there anything that surprised you about the life in the Czech Republic when you moved in,
Okay. Surprising. I would say the driving is insane. Driving on the roads is insane. I don't know how you guys stay on the road on small town village roads. I don't get it. Like, there's this massive truck coming and there's this tiny little smart car on the side and they can kind of pass each other. Every time I go driving with my husband, I have like a heart attack. Like,
so you have your roads are wider,
Yes, we have wide roads, enough room and space for moose and bears and everything. I mean, snow.
Yes, my name is Chelsea. I'm from Chicago in the United States, and I am a teacher. I've been teaching English and dance and art for about 10 years.
Imagine that I'm about to visit Chicago. I can't say it.
Okay, visit.
But yes, it's actually the second biggest city, or the third, but one of the biggest, definitely. So imagine I would love to go. Is there something I should know or I should be ready for? Something that might be different from what I'm used to normally do, or...
I think actually people are a little bit friendlier in Chicago than they are in Czech Republic. So we're not so friendly on the street, but if you go and once you start patronizing a business, don't be surprised if people start, especially if you're at a bar sitting by yourself. We're quite friendly for a big city. I think we're probably the friendliest big city in the United States. So if you're sitting at a bar, don't be surprised if the bartender maybe is worried that you feel a little lonely, or maybe that you're new and you don't know anyone, and start talking to you or start chatting you up and getting you involved in conversations. And you also have to visit my neighborhood, which is the original Czech neighborhood called Pilsen in Chicago.
Pilsen.
So, yeah. Yeah, so we have some Czech history, and that's really, really great for Czech visitors to be able to come and see the Czech history in Chicago. It's a Mexican neighborhood now, but it used to be up until the 1950s a Czech community.
Oh, thank you.
But I do think Chicago is similar to Czech Republic. You can get lots of good beer. You can get lots of good meat, good sausages, good potatoes. But we are not as clean as Czech Republic. So outside of the downtown, you will see trash and you will see dirty streets. But it's a very fun and exciting city with lots of friendly people. So just be ready, especially if it's summertime. Be ready for people to start conversations with you. People are a lot more open than maybe New York.
So it's good for practicing English, actually. A lot of conversations. Yeah, good. Thank you. And I don't know, actually, have you ever been to the Czech Republic?
Yes. I lived in Czech Republic for a year. I loved it.
Fantastic. So that's easy for my question. Was there something that surprised you about the life in the Czech Republic?
I loved living there. I have visited 6 times since I lived there just to see friends and to keep in touch. I think what surprised me the most was how fearful Czech speakers are to speak English. I remember being very, very lost one day and going up to a gentleman at the bus stop and asking for directions. And he just told me, no English. And so I just walked away and probably had a very sad face and was on my phone trying to find the directions, and everything's in Czech. And I'm just showing I'm obviously very frustrated, to the point that he felt sorry for me and then walked over and spoke completely perfect English and gave me directions, and then apologized and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. My English is so bad. I don't like to speak English to anybody." And I was like, "Your English is almost perfect. What is the problem?" So I think I did not anticipate that apprehension from Czech people. Even when they speak decent English or even really good English, people feel like they have to be perfect to even talk to you. And that's been something that I've always trying to now, since I had that experience, I'm always trying to break that down between Czech speakers. And I'm I know you can talk to me.
Oh, I love that approach. That's good. Thank you. And I think you have partly answered that, but is there anything else that you would say it's maybe the biggest difference between Czech and American culture, or the way of life, or living, or spending free time, or
Yeah, I think it's this open versus closed, and I think the closed aspect of Czech culture I actually really enjoy because it's so opposite to my culture. So living there, other than not being able to get directions and forcing people to be my friend sometimes, it's nothing a people can solve. I generally day to day I really enjoy this, and I find a lot of just happiness about being able to go to and fro, and people are so not interested in you, and people just completely are self-absorbed in their own things, and that's very opposite to American culture. I feel like we're constantly worried about this and that and outside influences, and we're definitely very opinionated. You can be in the store and somebody will tell you how they feel about how you're disciplining your child, or what you're buying, or how you're talking to your partner. We're super opinionated, and I think that gets to be a little bit annoying. So I think I really like that feeling of just nobody cares what I'm doing, nobody cares what I'm wearing, nobody cares if I move into their neighborhood. Czechs are just very solitary, and I really enjoy that. It's a time and a place for everything, and both cultures have, can maybe learn something from each other, but that's definitely a big difference. Is Americans are very, very open, and Czechs are very, very closed. And me being from such an open place, I like kind of being closed for a while.
My name is Hector. I am from the United States. I was born in the state of Oregon. but I grew up in the state of Georgia, specifically in the city of Atlanta. My hobbies are taking things apart to see how they work and all of the artistic endeavors such as painting and drawing and photography and things of that nature.
So imagine that I am about to travel to Atlanta. Is there something I should know, I should be careful about or maybe ready for, something that can be surprising for a person from Europe or the Czech Republic?
In Atlanta, okay, so Atlanta now it's a pretty big city at this point. Right? It's pretty popular in just like, you know, the popular circles and in general in popular culture, right? It's become kind of a staple at this point. But every time I think of Atlanta, I think of the barbecue spots. And barbecue food, you know, it's, if you've had barbecue, I don't know, I've had it here in Europe and it's not the same as back home. It's just back home they let it sit for days. And it's so good because you take the chicken, you know, if you like that kind of stuff, you take the bone right out and it just slides in and out. It's unreal. It's just unreal. And so if you like barbecue, that is one of the best places you could possibly go.
And okay, I'll remember that. Thank you.
Another thing about Atlanta is that it's a very diverse city. Okay, you have a lot of different cultures, a lot of people with different backgrounds, and so, you know, like in most places, there's different neighborhoods in which they seem to congregate. And I remember going into different Mexican restaurants, but like real Mexican restaurants, right? Where you would go in and it's basically a meat market, and then in the back they have like a clandestine restaurant, you could say, right?
Uh-huh.
And one of the strange things about it is it's a little bit counterintuitive because you have to walk in there, and if it smells bad, it means that the food is incredible.
Okay.
if it smells okay, if there's no smell or anything, the food is going to be it's going to be okay.
Okay, thank you. By the way, where do you live now? Are you in where are you now?
I'm currently living in Valencia, Spain.
Ah, cool. Thank you. And so would you say, what was kind of like a surprise for you when you moved to Spain? Was there something that surprised you about the Spanish culture in comparison with the American you were used to?
Well, there's a big difference between like Spanish culture, I guess European culture in general, you could say, is that everything seems to be much closer. In the United States, we really depend on transportation to get from one place to the other. Mm-hmm. Whereas, for example, here in Spain, right, I just go downstairs and there's a bar. Or I go downstairs and there's a market and there's all types of things that you could have. Whereas in the United States, typically you have to travel a little bit further and you have to take a car or a bus or something in order to get to these places.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so that was something that was very different.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, actually, that's a nice one. Thank you.
Of course, my name is Rolanda, and I am from beautiful, sunny Los Angeles, but now I live in beautiful, sunny Madrid, Spain, and I've been here for 6 years. But I'm a Californian at heart.
Beautiful. So my first question is: imagine I or anybody from the Czech Republic or Central Europe would like to visit California. What should I know? What should I expect? Is there something I should be aware of?
Well, it's very big. It's huge. Europeans are very used to the cities being very compact, right? But it's the opposite in the U.S. and especially Los Angeles. It's very, very spread out. So there really is no city center in Los Angeles. Yeah. It's smaller towns. But it's a beautiful city, beautiful state. You can go to the beach in the morning. You can go skiing if you want. And skiing in the morning, surfing in the afternoon. There's desert, there's mountains, there's the beach. So it's a beautiful state.
Tak to byl další díl BroňaCastu. Já doufám, že se vám líbil. A chtěl bych říct, že moc děkuju všem, kteří mi někdy napsali, že podcast poslouchají, protože na rozdíl třeba od YouTube, tady není tak úplně lehké reagovat a napsat, nevím, že se vám něco líbí nebo nelíbí. Takže všem, co mi napsali e-mail, moc děkuju. Mám radost, že podcasty posloucháte, tedy tajně doufám, že se vám líbí. Chtěl jsem říct, napište mi do komentářů, ale ono to tady úplně nejde, takže můžete mi napsat e-mail, jestli chcete, co se vám líbilo, nelíbilo, jaký máte případně nápady na další podcasty, kde by mi pomohlo, co vás zajímá, co byste chtěli zjistit. Jestli jste si ještě náhodou nestáhli můj e-book 300 nejlepších stránek, odkazů a aplikací ke studiu angličtiny, většina z nich je zdarma, ten e-book taky, tak to určitě můžete udělat na mých stránkách na broňa.cz, když kliknete newsletter, tak když se k němu přihlásíte, tak vám tohle zadarmo přijde. Pak se zase můžete odhlásit, když nebudete chtít samozřejmě. Ale hlavně, don't forget to stay awesome and dream big. Bye bye.